Lingles here at pressure-free.com. I think we're live. We're going to go with it. Welcome. We're kind of having a fireside chat here out the window here. Actually, right up there is Sandra Bullock's house. And I'm on the channel in Pentwater, Michigan. The lake is right over there. The beach is right over there. The state park is right over there. And a really beautiful place where I held my Pentwater retreat this year. And actually I had a couple of houses, and this is one of them. I'm staying for the rest of the week to enjoy myself and do some writing. Actually did some fiction writing today. So a couple of people are still coming on the Zoom. And so we will dive in here in just a moment. For anyone coming in on Zoom, I will close out the live on Facebook, and then we can do questions and answers over there. And for those of you who haven't signed in, if you sign in, I will make sure you get all the recordings of this deep dive. So I'm Elle Ingalls, creator of the Pressure-Free Method, the on-the-go stress management method that helps you reduce stress, anger, and anxiety without having to slow down or take time off. It's perfect for high achievers. It's perfect for people who get frustrated when people tell them to take time off or slow down. This program is designed exactly for you. And that's because that's me. Don't tell me to slow down. Don't tell me no. I'm just going to always do the one more thing. I'm always going to be challenging myself, taking on new challenges. And it's kind of amazing that I created this method so that I could do it all elegantly and not harm myself. Tonight, what we're going to focus on this deep dive is bodily functions. So we're going to go deep. If that makes you queasy, then stay with me, because I'll give you tools to help you not get queasy. But these are some questions that people ask me. People will ask me, why do I pee so much? Especially males with enlarged prostate, we'll go into that with them. Females may have bladder infections or feel they have bladder issues, but they're talking about when they're about to speak, when they're about to do something a little challenging, maybe when they're going to run a race. You know, they've just gone to the bathroom and now they feel like they have to go again. I've met so many people that have to lead a meeting or speak in public, and before they go on stage or go into the meeting, you know, they've just gone to the bathroom like 20, 30 minutes before, and should be able to go about 3-4 hours without having to go again, but they'll feel this need to go again. So I'll get that question, why do I pee so much? Another question that I get is, why does my stomach feel so nauseous? Why do I have butterflies in my stomach? Why do I feel like I'm going to lose it? And as a track coach, I have seen many kids lose it. I've seen many young athletes lose it before a competition, and it can be embarrassing. Sometimes it happens during the run. And you'll lose control of your bodily functions. I saw that happen in the Boston Marathon. About halfway in, someone had totally lost it, one of their bodily ability to control their bodily functions. And it was obvious all over their legs. So you can guess what that was. Another question I get is like, why does my throat close up? And it's really hard for me to talk. I feel a swelling here and it's hard for me to breathe. And also dry mouth. That's another question that I get. Like, I go to speak in public and people will say, I go to speak in public and my mouth is all dry. Then the last one that I'm going to focus on tonight is being uncoordinated and shaky. So all of these things that I just listed, these things that are happening to our bodies that are uncomfortable and therefore taking us out of our best performance, are all the side effects of triggering the fight or flight stress hormones. So I'm going to share why this is all happening so that you have insight. What I find is that when I enlighten people about their bodies and about what's happening to them in fight or flight, they gain power. When you understand what's happening, it empowers you. And then when you start using my method, you can actually have a qualitative difference happen in your performance because you're no longer feeling some of those things, which is very exciting. So let's start first with the bladder and peeing a lot. So if you trigger fight or flight, one of the side effects is that your bladder muscles are going to contract and you're going to feel like you have to go again. And sometimes people say it's really frustrating because, you know, you'll go into the bathroom and it's just like a trickle. There's really not a whole lot there. And also for males, if you have receive a diagnosis of a high PSA or you have an enlarged prostate, the anxiety that you can start to feel can exacerbate the fact that you're triggering more and more stress hormones, which is enlarging the prostate more and having you have to go to the bathroom more and more and more. And that is very uncomfortable, very unsettling. Also, it interrupts your sleep. So if you're having to get up in the night, that's an issue too. And if you can gain control over your stress response, you'll see that your bladder can, you won't have that effect so much. And I'm just going to talk real honestly about me. After our third baby, I actually thought I had a bladder issue, like maybe I had damaged something in the birth process or something, because I seemed to have to go to the bathroom a lot. And what was actually happening, this was before Pressure Free, was my youngest was born in 2000, and I didn't create Pressure Free till 2010. So really for about 10 years, I thought I was like having to go to the bathroom way too much. And my boys would sometimes make fun of me, like we're only 20 minutes down the road to a hockey tournament. And I'm like, oh, you have to pull off. I have to go to the bathroom. I'm like, you just went. It's so embarrassing. But what it really was I got really keyed up in that particular time period of my life. I had so much going on. I was trying to do some really big projects at work at the same time. I had this new baby, and we were now outnumbered. We had 3 kids and 2 parents, and we are a travel hockey, travel baseball, like constantly in motion family. So much going on that I was probably triggering the stress hormones 20 times in the morning, just trying to get everybody to school and work and everywhere they had to be. So it was that constant release of stress hormones that was messing with me. Fast forward to 2010, and I create the Pressure Free method. I start using it on myself, not thinking it has anything to do with this pee problem. Well, amazingly, I started to realize that I wasn't having to pee so much. And so I started to play with it, and it was interesting to watch how doubts would creep in. Like I'm like, wow, I'm doing really great. Like I don't have to pee so much. And then this doubt would creep in, like, oh, but maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe you're going to have to. So you better be prepared. We create some patterns in fight or flight, and we create some patterns around our bodily functions. For example, if you were small and you were late potty training, you may have gotten a lot of pressure from your parents to potty train. And that pressure has affected you as an adult. I can't even tell you how many people we go deep on that in my coaching sometimes. And they're like, yeah, I had a parent who just was like all over me when I was a little kid, but I just couldn't feel it yet. By the way, I learned something really cool from a friend of mine who heard a lecture at Kellogg Company, of all things, where they had a parenting expert in sharing that for boys, the nerve that actually tells you that you have to go develops much more slowly in males than females. And so boys will tend to potty train much later. So you could have some stuff from your childhood around potty training that's causing a lot of anxiety for you, even to this day. Another pattern that I noticed too is like, so your parent or somebody tells you, okay, we're going to go somewhere, maybe going to a movie or something. So go to the bathroom first. And there's kind of this urgency. Oh, like, go to the bathroom first. I don't want any accidents or, things like that. Notice how the parent usually saying that's kind of keyed up. And so you take on that same kind of emotion, which will cause you to trigger fight or flight. So now you go, and then you go to the movie, and you still have to go in the middle of the movie. So these are just things to look out for, and to kind of look back at your past and say, do I have some patterning around this that I can work on? I love helping my clients change up some of the patterns that have been long-standing and step into some new routines and new habits that totally do serve you. So that's one. Let's talk about the nausea now. So when we go into fight or flight, our digestive system is going to slow down or stop. So that really messes with the way our stomach feels. So if you feel nauseous, that's the reason why. Like everything is changing. Every bodily process changes when we release that flood of adrenaline. And so that's what will cause the butterfly feeling. but it also can cause some people to have a lot of pain in their stomach. And if you continue to trigger fight or flight, you can develop conditions based on what's happening here in your gut. So we have so much on gut health today, but at the same time, stress is a major, major culprit in causing our gut to be unhealthy. Your body turns extremely acid when you go into fight or flight, hence ulcers. So I very clearly remember when I was a child that ulcers were a stress-induced thing. And then all of a sudden there was science coming out saying, no, 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 it's a bacterial thing. Well, here's the deal. When you trigger fight or flight, your body turns extremely acid, and bacteria and cancers thrive in an acidic body. If you can refrain from triggering those floods of hormones, starting first with the catecholamine flood, the cocktail, if you can refrain from releasing those hormones, your body is going to be much more alkaline, no matter what you eat, no matter what you put in your body. So that's really key to know, because once you can start to turn around the acidity of your body, you will have so much less problem with any sort of bacterial infections. And you can actually help yourself stay in remission if you've had cancer, or prevent cancer as well. So your body turns very acid, and that's another reason why your stomach can feel so awful and your gut can feel so awful, because those nasty bacteria will thrive in an acidic body. So let's see, what else did I have for you? Oh, throat closing. Let's do throat closing next. So when we trigger fight or flight, our bodies, when we go into fight or flight, we want to protect ourselves from threats. The true reason to go into fight or flight is for us to prevent an attack. So we're either going to fight or run away or freeze. And today we do a number of things. We fidget, we do all kinds of things that I point out to my clients, but fight or flight is what we think of the most. So our bodies are completely on alert, and all they want to do for a number of hours is to protect ourselves. So one of the ways we protect ourselves is we tighten the front of our body on purpose. It's like our body armor. We have ribs here to protect these organs, but there's no rib up here. And for those of you who ever take a self-defense class, you know that this is the most dangerous blow you could ever deliver to someone. So our throats will tighten, and also our abs will tighten like body armor, which is another reason why you can have a lot of nauseous feelings and pains in your gut, is because we're tightening our abdominal muscles and holding them quite tight. So it's like you'll curl up to protect yourself. And so your throat is naturally going to tighten when we go into fight or flight. And there can be inflammation in here too. So all of this feels constricted. It can be very hard to breathe. So you hear about stress-induced asthma. It's a real thing. This is all tightening, all inflaming. And it's because we're trying to protect ourselves. So when you can, in fact, I'm going to give you a tool right now. I gave it last night, and I continue to give it all the time. But if you relax your belly, now your throat can relax. Your throat cannot relax very well if your abs are tight. In fact, I don't know, we'll try to show it here. Just let's get real. So just watch my neck for a moment. First of all, I can't believe that my neck is 60. Like my neck didn't used to look like this. It used to be much more. Can't even do it anymore. It's hard for me to do it. But I want you to see if you see a subtle change in my neck, because right now, okay, I'm going to thoroughly relax my abs. And now I'm going to tighten them. Do you see that? So relaxed, tight. It tightens the front of the body. This is huge for you. This is really huge for you. So relax your abs, and then this can get softer. And if you give speeches, if you have to talk in class, if you're a student or an adult and a student, if you have to present in meetings, if you can just relax your abs, this is going to do such a better job for you. Same thing if you sing, if you're a performer. So that can be really helpful. Also, if you're an athlete, if you can keep those abs relaxed, you're going to have so much more ability to expand your lung tissue and get more surface area, to get more oxygen out and get rid of more CO2. So we do a lot of shallow breathing, especially North Americans, like 90, 95% of North Americans are only breathing from their chest. So when you get those abs relaxed, you can actually allow your lung tissues to settle down in there more. You're going to get more surface area. Very, very profound. And you'll probably breathe much slower because a lot of us are hyperventilating. We're breathing too fast. So when you can really relax those abs, you're going to be able to breathe slower. It's just going to give you longer life, more quality of life. So that's the throat closing thing. I've got notes over here. Let's see. Oh, why does my mouth go dry? That's a really good one. So just like I was sharing how the whole digestive system is going to slow down or stop. And by the way, here's why that happens. I'm a why girl, so I'm constantly trying to find research to tell me why these things happen. Well, we actually close down our digestive system when we go into fight or flight because metabolizing food takes a ton of energy. And when we're in fight or flight, we want to use all that fat and glucose to fight or run away. So we'll stop a lot of our bodily processes. Our reproductive system slows down or stops. Our digestive system slows down or stops. Our cognitive function, which takes a great deal of energy, that slows down or stops. So here, your saliva ducts are the first way that you digest food. In fact, I have a whole session on health in my course, and I have something called the Food for Fuel formula. In fact, if you'd like that food for fuel formula, just go ahead and DM me. I would be happy to share it with you. But these saliva ducts are going to actually shut off. So will your tear ducts. Your tear ducts can shut off in fight or flight. So you may feel dry eye. So if you have a dry eye or dry mouth issue, if you have a lot of mouth sores, the reason can be these fight or flight stress hormones. Again, these are going to shut off because we're shutting off our digestive ability. And the first place that you digest food is in your mouth with your saliva. This is so huge. I've been doing some more intense workouts lately, and I've been making sure to keep my abs really relaxed and keep my breathing like really deep and long, even in my workouts. And I'm noticing that I can keep my saliva going. That's a sign to me that I'm not triggering too high of a heart rate and releasing too much adrenaline. That's the key to the staying power as an athlete. In fact, when I coach athletes, I have them find that sweet spot. So they are really super powerful, but they're not triggering fight or flight with a too high heart rate. So the saliva can teach you that, can help you find that spot. You always want to have a nice moist mouth. Like my mouth is totally fine right now. Not at all in fight or flight, which is a great thing. Being uncoordinated and kind of shaky. So sometimes my clients will say to me, I hold out my hand, it's like shaking, and I just feel all jumpy, and I've got all this nervous energy. My leg is jiggling, and then like in my sport, I go to throw, and it's so off. So many times I'll watch student athletes in practice, and like they're so right on with their shots, their free throws in basketball, their shots in hockey, or they're right on with their pitching and baseball. But then they get in the game and it all changes, no matter how hard they practiced. So when we up the stakes, it's very easy for us to trigger fight or flight ahead of the game, the tournament, the situation. And then you'll just see that the shot is off. You'll see that something that they've done many times so perfectly is now just shaky. It's not happening. And so the reason for that is when we go into fight or flight, the fighting and the fleeing that we do, it's not controlled muscle motion. It's like flailing. By the way, let's go back to peeing for a moment. One of the reasons you have to pee is because one of the things that many animals do, excuse me, got me choked up, that many animals do is actually pee themselves to ward off the predator. Little toads will do it. If you pick up a little toad, it'll pee in your hand. It's because that is a way that it gets rid of the predator. So you're not in controlled muscle motion when you're in fight or flight. You're flailingly fighting and you're flailingly running away. So that's why you'll see this uncoordination happen when we go into fight or flight. I get extremely uncoordinated. Like I'll drop things. I will hit my elbow. This elbow is no longer a funny bone because I've hit it so many times, like whipping around in my kitchen and hitting the fridge or a counter. I actually saw one of the worst plane crashes happen right in front of my eyes in 1987. And so that always made me like a little nervous flying, and I didn't even realize it. But until 2010, when I realized that when I get into a plane, I am so uncoordinated that I have long femurs, my leg bones. I would always have bruises on my knees. Because I'd always hit my knees trying to get in and out of my seat. And now that I am much more, I use a lot of pressure free tools when I fly because I still remember what I saw that day. But I don't trigger the stress response. And I no longer bruise up my knees when I'm getting in and out of my seat, which is such a blessing. I have another client too that's she was here at the retreat, and she was sharing with everyone like, yeah, I used to get so bruised all the time, and now she doesn't. She's much more coordinated. She's much more fluid with her body. So she's not, hitting stuff and bruising herself. That was me too. I remember once I was coaching a middle school track team in pressure free, and one of the young men, boys, he was a boy, he was like fifth grade. So what is that, 10, 11 years old? He was playing on a baseball team that my son was my husband was coaching. And we were using pressure free and teaching it to these boys. And what was fascinating is that, when he started with baseball, he could barely throw, barely catch the ball, always would miss. He was so quote unquote uncoordinated. And people might think, oh, he's not an athlete. But my husband and I knew better. Like, we knew if we could help him control his stress response, that he would be great. And sure enough, within a few weeks, suddenly he was catching the ball, throwing the ball. He could play shortstop. Like, he was just doing it. And so I think sometimes young people are kind of labeled, oh, you're uncoordinated, you're not an athlete. And so they don't pursue activities that would even just keep them healthy in general, because they've been told these things. I remember very clearly a moment in the kitchen. I think I must have been wiping. In my family, my mother would wash the dishes and one of us would wipe the dishes. We had 3 girls, and so we trade off. Every third night was your night. So when I was the wiper, and I must have broken something or dropped something on the ground, and my mother said, it was 8th grade, by the way, and it was all like arms and legs. I had grown tall and I was very uncoordinated. And my mother goes, Pamela, that's my formal name, Pamela, you don't have a coordinated bone in your body. And she was just kind of joking, but I was in 8th grade and middle school. I kind of took it to heart because I was already feeling that that I wasn't coordinated, that my limbs had grown too fast and I didn't know how to handle it. And I felt really skinny and just a little off. And so I thought I wanted to kind of shoot back, but I'm a violinist and I'm really good. But that wasn't enough. So I thought, okay, what's the most coordinated thing an 8th grade girl could do? Try out for the 9th grade. We had junior high, so 9th grade cheerleading team. So that spring I did, and I made it. So I was a football cheerleader. I didn't even know the game of football back then, even though my mother was a major fan. I didn't understand it very much, but I learned. And then I was also a basketball cheerleader. The next year, though, I got to be a hockey cheerleader at Concord High School in New Hampshire. That's a big deal. So as a sophomore, there were only 2 of us. I think, only 2 sophomores on the squad. And that was a really big deal. And we actually cheered on the ice because we had special insurance. This is my high school color, by the way. It's kind of fun to have it on tonight and remember that. But that was just the beginning of my athletic career. I did so much. I was co-captain of our cross country team, co-captain of the JV basketball team. And then I rode for the University of Michigan. So I've done a lot of sports in my life, and how I wish I had pressure free back then. I have some just incredible pictures showing just how how stressed I would be whether or not we were going to win, because our cross country team is really good. And I really wanted us to win every single meet. And as captain, I did all kinds of fun things to try and make that happen. But there's actually a picture capturing me just being obviously quite stressed out, worried if we were going to win or not. Like, I'd already crossed the finish line and I'm talking to our assistant coach with these like pensive hands. And It's really kind of funny to look back. But how I wish I could have learned all this when I was young, because it probably would have saved me so much throughout my lifetime. But we can't look back. So today is your day. Today is your new day. If you're new to Pressure Free, please go to my website and book a call. Put my website down below. You'll see the link where you can have a free consultation with me. And I really urge you to do it, because so many of my clients say, oh, Elle, I so wish that I had done this years ago. It would have saved me so much grief and so much suffering. So if you're in any way knowing that you're not quite performing at the level that you know you could, then I would love to have a conversation with you. I want to learn about you so we can see if Pressure Free is a good fit for you, and see if you'd like to learn this with me. Because I've helped so many people just step up their lives in ways that are really pretty miraculous. And it's just because those darn stress hormones have gotten in the way for so long. They started when you were in utero, when you were inside your mom. So that's what I have for you tonight on this deep dive. It's just been really great to share this with you. There's so many other things body-wise that we could get into, but those were the major ones that I wanted to hit on tonight for you. And softening the front of your body is just a really great way for you it actually tells your brain that you are okay, because we tighten those muscles to protect ourselves. And when you tighten those muscles, it tells your brain to be primed to go into fight or flight. But if you can relax the front of your body, starting with your abs, like we did the other night, those really lower abs, if you can really start to do that. Oh, by the way, one of my clients who was just here at the retreat, she, oh no, it was a different client. My client in Ontario, she just texted me and she said, isn't it weird that we put the seatbelt way down low in the airplane, right where we need to be more relaxed? We often pinch ourselves right in the places where we need to be more relaxed. So watch your waistbands, watch, like a necktie, watch your watches on your wrist. That's like a pressure point, and that can cause you some issues as well. Another thing that I think I probably mentioned the other night too is that, your skin reflects a lot. So I'll just show my cheek here. Like, can't believe I'm showing you my I don't have any makeup on. Okay, so it's like, there's nothing on this, but this is my skin. And my skin used to be really pretty awful. My hands used to be awful. Like, I'll just show you my hand. Like, I can't believe it's my hand, because this hand was so covered in eczema. It was cracked and bleeding and bloated. And like, I always hid my hands in pictures. You can hardly see any time that you'll see my hands. So your skin is your largest organ. It's going to reflect a lot. For example, if you go through a detox or a cleanse, you may have some acne pop up. You may have some things happen with your skin because you're actually like detoxing things out of your skin. But your skin can really reflect what's happening to you. And so can your hair, the health of your hair. So look for these clues. Your body gives you clues. Your body also really holds that stress, and you need to release it. You need to free yourself. So that's what Pressure Free is about. No matter what stressors or challenges you encounter, you can stay free of triggering the stress response. That is the key to a well-working mind and a beautifully working body. So that's what I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed this, and please share it if you know someone that's suffering and could benefit from learning more about pressure-free living. Have a great night.